Hello, welcome to another session of 15 minutes of tangling. So yesterday I was working on this Elegan here, and I just finished up putting down some graphite on each of these little muka bulbs. So I'm going to continue on with adding some highlighting today. So we added the graphite in kind of like a smiley face shape. So centered upon that smiley face, I'm just going to put a circle of this white charcoal. And then we'll take our tortillion and the two will blend nicely together. I'm also going to add a little bit to some of these flecks. I'm not sure about these orbs though. I'm not sure what I want to do with them later. If I want to perhaps put some gold in them. We'll see how it goes. So today was another rainy day. In the morning it wasn't rainy, but I was busy doing some schoolwork. By the time I got done with my schoolwork, though, it was definitely a rainstorm. And I thought the rain had ended, so I grabbed my umbrella just in case it started up again. And I had an idea. I saw some picnic tables out on a field relatively close to my house. So I started walking around my neighborhood, but as I did so, I realized it was still definitely drizzling and even like straight on raining at times. Thankfully, I have a pretty massive umbrella, so I don't mind walking around when it's raining, but it certainly was not a good idea to tangle outside. The tables that I was thinking of were absolutely soaked. So another day we will tangle at those tables. But it was really nice to walk around my neighborhood. I went down a few roads I had never been down before, walking in a neighborhood. It was very green, lots of gardens. So it was a little adventure, a little bit of a discovery today, which was fun. I even found another nearby church that has a little sort of garden courtyard area with some benches. So again, another tangle possibility in the future. I think by the time I'm done with my PhD, I'll know where every single bench and every single table in Charlottesville is located. We'll just take our tortillion and smooth in all of that white charcoal. Just blend it. Pattern has such a flow to it. It's quite beautiful, dynamic. It has dimension once you add all of your highlighting and shading. Just a beautiful pattern. Really a combination of muka and flux, but so elegantly done, as the name implies. All right, there we go with our highlighting. Let's go ahead and shade the ribbon shape itself. So adding my graphite along the edges. Again, this will get so much darker later when I go through with my Copic markers. This is just to sort of add, you know, a hint of shading, a hint of shadow. It does a pretty good job as it is. It's just much more intense once you add shading with the Copic markers. There we go. Hopefully just adding this little bit of graphite will already start to give it that ribbon-like dimension. Blend it in with our tortillion. Lately I've been talking to friends and family and listening to just videos of people who have posted on YouTube regarding, you know, how they're experiencing this time in history, this quarantine, this pandemic, whatever you'd want to, however you'd want to refer to it. All right, let's go ahead and add our highlight down the middle. Again, I'm going to do it very gently at first and see where we want to go from there. Small, gentle little circles right down the middle. And one of the common threads I'm hearing from folks, and also have experienced myself, is this just sense of a loss of connection, even if we're just sometimes still connecting, you know, through Zoom and online. And then that loss of connection sometimes leads to just an overall and in general sense of loneliness in life. And one of the people I heard talking about it was saying, you know, maybe people will start to shift their priorities and start to prioritize valuable relationships in their lives. It's interesting when I hear people speculate about what the effects might be of this pandemic. So we'll see. We'll have to see over time. Let's go ahead and continue this. And just gently here and there. The white charcoal has muddied it a little bit. We'll have to see in the end if it's enough that I want to go back in and redefine some of those lines later. But for now, I'm feeling pretty satisfied with that section. Looking all right. There we go. All right. So I think we're going to go ahead and move on to doing a pattern right here in the child section of our Motherhood knot. And the pattern I would like to begin today is called Well. It's one of the original Zentangle patterns, and it is a grid pattern. So I'm going to, it's a grid pattern in squares, but you can also do it in a triangular shape. So I think I'm going to play around with this idea of drawing well in a triangular shape rather than in a square shape. So it'll be a bit of an experiment. We'll see how it goes. We might like it, we might not. It'll be fun either way. So instead of drawing a grid, I'm going to draw a zigzag that will create some triangular shapes. So that would go there. This will be a little bit challenging on the corner. we'll figure it out. Maybe I'll end it right there. Yep. So then this would come down here. I might have one coming up this way. All right. So I'm going to put an orb right in the center of each of these triangles. This one will kind of be like that. There we go. This one will be behind. We'll see about these ends later. Maybe later we'll want to play with that a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to start with my this orb here. I'm going to do some takeoff and land, meaning I'm going to draw around the orb and then land right at this vertex in the triangle. And I'm going to do so in a counterclockwise direction. So take off and land. And I'm going to follow that same pattern, take off and land, for each corner. So take off and land. Take off and land. All right. So let's go to the next. Now this one, instead of going counterclockwise, I'm going to go clockwise. So take off and land. There we go. So for this one, we were going counterclockwise. I'll just have to imagine taking off from there and then land right here. Okay. And then from this one, we will be going clockwise. So this guy will come and wrap around that way. Clockwise this way, and then I don't think we'll even see this one right here. So that will make this one counterclockwise. We'll just decide that guy is counterclockwise. And then we'll have to just, this one we'll just imagine that it goes all the way to its corner there. So this one here was counterclockwise. This one, there's an imaginary triangle under here, would have been clockwise, so it would have come up and around that way, and then it would come down and around this way. And then this one is counterclockwise. Yeah, you have to do a little bit of imagining when your ribbon goes beneath. Either way, it'll be beautiful. All right. Neat. It already makes some pretty interesting shapes just like that, but I would like to go ahead and play around with that a little bit. First, I'm going to kind of, how do I describe that? Let's see. It's sort of like aura-ing, but you wind up coming to that vertex. You start on the circle and then come to the vertex there. Let's see, where do we start off on those circles? So for this one, so I'm going to aura this line here. So we'll start out on the circle kind of where this one takes off and aura that to the edge, to the corner there. So here, kind of like where this one hits the circle. Yep. And we will continue on with that shape, that well, tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate all of your comments. As I was saying earlier, connection and loneliness is something that many of us are struggling with at this time, so I really do appreciate connecting with you guys every day and doing something that I love and hearing that it's something that you guys love as well. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.